Our other big story is the Mississippi River cresting in Burlington, Iowa. Over the past 24 hours, the river reached 20 feet and then began falling. Now it's at 19 feet and will go under major flood stage sometime next week. This also means that the flood threat for much of the Quad City area is quickly decreasing. The next major community at risk for flooding is Keokuk, Iowa. The river is expected to crest today. But the impact of the flood isn't gone. There are now cleanup efforts that could take days. News 8's Charles Hart is near Campbell Island in Rock Island County, where they are handing out flood kits to residents. Charles?
Yeah, hey Nina, so just as you said, they are actually handing out flood cleanup kits to residents here on Credit Island, and I'm actually, Campbell's Island, I apologize, and I keep mixing those two up, but I'm actually joined with a gentleman from the Salvation Army. John, I really appreciate you joining me today to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, and I see we have plenty of supplies here for residents who were affected by the flood here on Campbell's Island. Do you mind taking us through what we have here?
Yes, certainly. Now what we have is we call it a flood kit, but it's a cleanup kit, and it basic items, getting rid of some of the water and the mud and some of the things that have got wet. Just your simple items, sweep, push out mud, a squeegee, some collapsible handles, mops, a few chemicals here, a little bit of bleach and the pine sol just to kind of take out the mildew and the mold, and just to kind of help the residents get started on the big task ahead of them. I don't know exactly how long these will last. It is limited, but it's a good start to get things pushing and get some of that mud out of there.
Absolutely, yeah. No, thank you very much for taking us through that. And I know you said, this is a good start, and
Yes.
that, people are starting to think about that cleanup process. And I know you were kind of talking about, like, not everyone may need this stuff right away, but, why did you guys decide to get a jump start on this and start early, rather than waiting?
I would think part of the reasoning is because Campbell's Island does have such a large amount of residents and compared to some of the other areas that are dealing with the flood. So as this water begins to go down, some people may want the opportunity or start thinking about their cleanup. So while they're going to be here with the Red Cross shortly getting their meals, we figure we could get a start on getting some of these kits out, and we will be doing that across town, I believe, starting next Monday, and more over the locations, especially the Salvation Army in Moline and the Salvation Army in Davenport. We'll have locations there where we can start handing out kits on more of the Quad Cities, but we're getting started here on Campbell's Island, mainly because of the population, I would think.
Yeah, John, and since so many people have been affected by this in the Quad Cities, and especially on Campbell's Island, with almost half of the island being, covered in water, what are some of the dangers, of these floodwaters and the debris that are in these floodwaters that people need to make sure they're watching out for?
Well, I would say, obviously the first thing would be the contaminants, the mud, but bacterias and things that are getting wet that normally aren't wet, that will need time to dry out. So some of the kits will help kind of get some of that debris and some of that out of there before they can get mainly the bacteria and just the moisture out of there before they can dry up and everybody can get moving on to normalcy.
Absolutely. Well, John, I think that's all I need from you right there. But thank you very much for talking with us today, and we really appreciate what you guys are doing. And of course, today is not the only day that they will be distributing these flood cleanup kits. They will have locations in Moline and Davenport, and they will start giving out those flood kits on Monday. Guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.